We are here for the top four match between Matt HT and Mike Kessling. This is their first game of their match, and Kessling will be picking sides. Oh, Kessling just posted in the gym chat that MHT said he'll be about 5 minutes late. So I'm here with Silverglen. We'll just vamp for a few minutes.
We can fill the void for 5 minutes with some waffle. We can talk about your OCS pick, Joe. How did you end up picking Eric?
Well, year one of the OCS 2018, years ago, I played all the games, all 12 games every month, and I had the most number of points, and I got the first pick.
Yeah.
And then last year and this year, after I qualified, I stopped playing, and I did not get a high pick. And last year, Baroni and I were the two unpicked players, and we got matched up. And this year, Eric and I were the two unpicked players and got matched up. So, a little unfortunate it's a teammate.
Well, last year we share the same thing because I had first pick last year. And this year I did exactly what you did. After I qualified, literally, I stopped playing, dropped like a stone through the rankings and ended up being picked by, Bastian. Nice and easy, that one.
Yeah, well, your whole side of the bracket is really rough. It's got...
literally, if you'd put you and Eric on that side as well, no disrespect for anyone, but jeepers.
Yeah, it's rough. It's got Desai, Bastion, Baroni, you, Shaw.
Shaw as well's in there, and just crazy. It seems a little unfair that the Baroni and Desai will play each other possibly round two. Possibly.
Yeah, that's a bummer how that fell out.
In this event with so few people, it's going to happen, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, Eric and I are playing each other.
Exactly.
Round one.
Exactly that. And Bastian and I are on the Corona Cup team together, so I had a go at him for that. I said, "What are you doing, picking someone on? Honestly." He didn't get my sense of humour over it. He was quite Germanic about it all, and he thought I was being serious.
So, Corona Cup, which do you know which of the three deck types you're playing?
Bastian wanted to play open because he's on holiday for 2 weeks, so he's got no time to prepare. And Matt MHT said he would play. He wanted to play virtual reality, so I've got stuck with Jawa, which is not too bad because actually I've played quite a lot of the Jawa whilst I've not been playing open and OCS and stuff.
I don't know that I've ever played a Jawa game. I might have played one.
Yeah.
But
it just meant I didn't have to play against ISB or no idea.
Right, that's what I was going to say. I think that's my preference right now. I don't want to... Yeah. I don't know which cards are rare and which aren't, so I feel like it would take me forever to make a virtual reality deck and looking is this... What's the underlying card for this virtual slip? Yeah. I have no idea, and so it's
virtual's fine. It doesn't matter if it's underlying. As long as it's a virtual card, it's fine.
Every virtual card is allowed?
Yeah. Every virtual card is allowed. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I didn't want to sit and figure out what's rare, what's not, and I was like, I don't want that one.
For that.
And I'm super sick of the open meta with ISB, no idea. So Jawa's I think the best of the three right now. Anyway,
I think I've got lucky with that. But obviously, it's a bit like last year when the OCS played through. What was the massive meta? Everything was ROPS against Diplo. Was it last year?
Yeah, it was, because you and I were going to play, and then we were like, hey, let's just rule out. We can't play. We listed 5 decks, and we're like, we can't play any of these, so that we ended up just basically creating our own Jawa-esque idea.
I was going to ask Bastian if he fancied doing a banning list, but I don't think he's away, so he probably hasn't got the time and energy to put into it. But
yeah,
who knows? What do we think is going to happen in this matchup then? Based on the previous rounds.
Let's wait for that until we actually get started, because then we know they've emailed their deck lists in and that sort of thing. I mean, I'm sure they're not watching, but might as well just wait the extra couple minutes to
for sure, to
make any predictions like that.
That makes sense. Yeah. So most exciting matchup in the OCS, in your opinion?
Greg Baroni.
Yeah.
That's going to be hot round one. I hope, Baroni's been super busy with his restaurant, so he didn't end up being able to finish the NPC. He didn't he wasn't able to finish Texas Mini Worlds against me.
Do you
So
think he'll even play?
he didn't play against Hayes because he had to go to his restaurant. They were supposed to play that night, and then he had like an emergency, and then he had to just scoop. And then against me, we played game 1, and then just all week, we still had a whole week left to schedule, and
He was just
find any
super
time.
snowed under.
Yeah, I had won game 1 by 15, but obviously you're totally live still. So, but he just So I'm hoping he'll be able to carve out time with Greg, because I think that'll be a great match.
I think it would be. It'd be great if he did have time to do it, definitely. But like you say, it's very difficult to fit everything in, especially given these times, running a restaurant and all the complexities with that.
Right, right. With COVID going on, you've just got like, you're doing more deliveries, curbside service, like
it stretches you and changes the way you have to run the business. So I'm sure he's just trying to work with that at the moment.
Yeah.
But it'd be great if he did find time, as you say.
Yeah.
Looks like they're ready.
Oh, cool. All right, let me...
I can't see the chat, by the way, so I'm going to rely on you for that.
Cool.
Oh, interesting.
So Kessling is going dark first.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you think that's the safe bet in this environment? Start dark?
Hang on one sec. Let me get the window going.
Sure.
There we go. Oh no, that's not, still not. Dude, there we go. Okay. And let me move our faces out of the way. There we go. All right.
I won't say anything.
What are we looking at? Go ahead and tell us what's going on.
Intros. This could be a very interesting matchup, though.
Yes, Eric. I think I did cut my hair since the last stream. All right, so we're looking at Court from Kessling. He's the dark side player at the top of your screen. And Matt is opting for QMC, a deck he played in the pod play of Texas Mini Worlds. Looks like he's going back to something similar, I'm sure. Kessling for his third effect. Normally, a normal third effect would be Jabba's Haven, but he opts for an extra grabber. I think MHT had like just an insane amount of all kinds of barriers and leaderships and rescues and stuff like that. So clearly Kessling's prepared for that with the extra grabber.
It looks like, without playing Jabba's Haven as well, he was prepared that QMC might come on board, so Bespin's the system. Doesn't probably feel he needs to be pulling his own.
Right. It's one of those matchups where if Dark doesn't play the system, Court specifically, and pulls all their ships and just piles on Bespin and they take it over, they're going to win the game easily. Like they'll run away with it because all their characters will deploy -1 from the system, plus -1 from Scum. So everyone's -2. They're draining 3 there because Ellison Hinthro's adding an icon. So and they're satisfying battle plan, and Light won't have celebration, won't be draining free. It'll be a slaughter. So it's
and more than anything, these first 2 turns are going to be critical, as you say, for that very reason. And I think if I was Matt, I'd want to probably. You might have to play cautiously. You don't want to leave yourself exposed. Mm-hmm. Why do you think he's played Leia's quarters over the West Gallery to start with?
I don't really see an advantage to West Gallery. That always just lets you get out of Leia cheap if you want.
Yeah, fair enough.
Normally in this, I would favor Court. If I'm choosing these decks, I think Court's quite advantaged in this matchup. If QMC has Scum, that at least stops has Guts. That at least stops the Scum retrieval. But even with that, Scum pulling its ships and having a bunch of cheap aliens, I think, is their advantage still. So,
I mean, I have worked with Matt on some decks, so I have a slight inkling as to what he's got in here. I think, based on what Kessling had played before, certainly Court or something CCT was on Matt's radar, so I don't think he'll be overly surprised at this.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, with leadership, instead of pulling Radus or Akbar, he pulled Kraken.
Kraken.
Yeah.
Kraken Virtual, which will opponent may not add destiny draws to power or attrition here. So anti Ponda Baba card there.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
That's
what do you think? Like. Goldenrod. The only thing I can think of that's free is Guri on Stinger. Is there anything else in court?
I was thinking of Jabba Space Cruiser.
Oh, okay, perhaps. Pulling an alien leader. Okay, yeah. So there's two things there that Goldenrod could hit.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose Matt's hoping if he can keep Bespin unoccupied turn 1, it at least allows him to potentially get Hark and Overseer out to at least try and challenge that system, like you said, because it's a critical point. You know, it's like the focal battle point that we probably will see throughout the entire match.
Yeah, it'll definitely be if one or the other takes the system, they probably win the game. But they might just be battling over it the entire game. And it's not necessarily the case if there's no guts in this QMC.
Yep.
Even if Dark has to deploy their own system and run, they're still live to win. But if Light loses a system, they're definitely not.
I would be surprised if it's not in there, based on what Matt had been saying about potential things that he was considering.
Yeah. You think you'd still start wackling over? I guess so, because you get the force pile pulls, so there's no need to...
Exactly, yeah. Can you even pull it with wackling?
No, you can pull Celebration, you can't pull Guts, but you'll have your force pile pulls. Eric in the chat says Darkside could go turn 1 Jabba, download Scum, download the Space Cruiser with the objective, Space Cruiser get a free alien leader, so Goldenrod just stops that.
Exactly. I think certainly that is I mean, if you can get Jabber out and Scum and then even Ellis and Woof or something like that, I mean, that's such a strong setup turn 1 that Cork can achieve.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like he is pulling, he pulled a docking bay with his objective, and now he's probably pulling he's pulling the passenger deck. So he's getting his activation going.
Okay. Interesting, because sometimes you see the Twi'lek isn't always used for that. Sometimes it's to get Jabber out. Or
I think if you're going to be battling over the audience chamber, you might not, but... And just getting the 0 out is good.
Although that's with Hark, that's a force icon for light side as well.
True.
So, minor things. Currently, there's 3 force out there if Hark does come out.
Right.
I do agree with you. On the face of it, Cork should be advantaged here. But it's nice to see 2 decks that perhaps we don't see quite as often.
Yeah. If he does have Guts, he's got to get that out and Han, which might take a while to activate him, to force pile pull him, do everything. Yeah. So Scum might be...
I imagine he'll be playing Han Chewie Falcon probably, I'd imagine.
Yeah. But he's got to find that and find Guts and stay alive. And I imagine Dark's basically not going to take any damage early for a long time, and especially now with Erica. Dark's loss pile is going to stay small for a long time, and Matt's going to really have to slowly turn the tide, kick him off places, take board control, and then late game some kind of combination of Celebration and Pukamer could
break through that lock. Yeah, exactly. This might even be a court lock deck.
Yeah, sure. If he's got broken concentration in there, Erica, Mike could win by 30 plus cards.
Yep.
He might deploy a lot, so maybe only 28 or whatever. But like, if he does lock him,
number.
Yeah. Of course, lock is harder when you can pull from your force pile. So because once they get down to 1 card, so you got to lock them.
Pull it.
Yeah, you have to lock them before when they're still at a few cards.
Yes.
But of course, then they just draw them all up except for 1, and then the next turn they can force pile pull that 1. So you can't lock QMC.
No. And these are the grabbers that you were saying. So leadership got grabbed, but no force save to grab rescue.
Mm-hmm. Now, interestingly, that means Matt obviously saw this free something special. getting played, and in his opening hand he had both leadership and rescue, and opted to play the leadership to purposely as grabber bait. So he's saying rescue is more important to me than leadership is.
100%. That's what he's definitely telegraphing that.
And of course it has its great filtering, but its ability to cancel a destiny targeting your scrubs on Cloud City at mobile sites means P59 Dengar with gun.
Yeah, exactly. They don't do anything, and plus once you're flipped, the immunity to less than 4 is good as well. So yeah, with those that combination is very strong.
Satyr 13 says last time he played Kessling in a gym tournament, Kessling was playing court with broken concentration, retic, and all that stuff. Wasn't a fun introduction to that deck. So yeah, this very well could have that.
Yeah. Now, do you think you suggested you think Matt should take a slow approach given the setup here? Because often QMC will try and flip turn 1 if it can.
Yeah, it's hard to. So here's one interesting thing. He didn't. Kessling used his audience chamber pull on Erica, which isn't a bad call. She's just going to keep ping retrieving the entire time as you're battling and stuff. Even if Guts is out, she'll be doing her thing. But he has no scum out, which I mean, he could already have it in hand and be saving it, or he might have had Java.
Yeah, and Matt HT didn't use the Belden's Eye to get the cheap.
So it sounds like he doesn't want to go down with the ship right now and just have it immediately get attacked.
Definitely would appear so. And there is the West Gallery coming out from reserve.
JNap poses a question: what players are on the QMC Mount Rushmore? And then he says MHT, Tom Haid, Tom Kelly, and question mark. I'm not sure about those 3 because immediately the first 2 that come to mind for me are Bastion and Angelo. And of course this is, I don't know, I know JNap came back to the game within the last few years, but I don't know, Angelo won
his name
Worlds
is on
with
Overseer.
it.
That's his card.
Right? And which one is his?
Overseer is Angelo's card. So.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I certainly think for anyone returning new to the game, I would say Haid and probably Kelly as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
I didn't know which years you played, but yeah, Bastion played QMC a lot. Angelo won Worlds with it. Those are the first 2 that come to mind for me, but certainly in the latest era. I also think I lost my train of thought.
Interestingly,
Crypto is on that mountain as well. Could see that.
I've never seen Crypto play QMC for some time, but
he hasn't played at all for some time.
That's very true. Ahsoka from hand is interesting.
That's really interesting. So he's got to lose to court.
I would like you just hang on to that, surely.
Yeah. So his turn 1, he has to lose to court for not having a character deployed to Tatooine, and he loses Ahsoka, and it's not top decked; it's from hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I'd be curious to ask him about that.
Definitely.
I mean, probably didn't want to top deck because there's still a Hark or Overseer or whatever that he's planning on doing the Belden's Eye thing with next turn.
Just
but
surprised that was the choice of card.
Out of the 12 cards, that was the worst one.
Because against Court particularly, she's brilliant because Court mainly only has EPPs.
Right, she's immune to Forlom and immune to Aura Sing and Destiny -1 is great in space. It's great anywhere. Yeah.
Well, here comes Scum has come out.
Yeah, Charlie says
from hand,
too. Yeah,
and then from reserve he's pulled Ellis,
and Ellis will pull
a smuggler.
Probably Wolf would be the choice. So a lot of times it would be Ponda Baba, but you saw him pull that Kraken.
Exactly. Yep, I'd agree. But this is what Court does. Very strong setup. That's a lot of pressure already on the light side player.
Charlie makes a good point. He's thinking Ahsoka's really good in space, but if you're planning to go Yoda in space that just caps you both to one destiny that you can't modify, then
you don't need her.
Yoda
I'm
also
just still
stops Wolf.
intrigued. I assume he must have Hark and Overseer in hand because he's left 3 force, and that's perhaps slightly, might be slightly risky.
Right. He only spent 1 to pull a sight. So if he activated Hark or Overseer, he would have known it was, a 3/4 chance still in his force pile versus the one that he paid. So must not be.
Oh wow, there's Jabba to space.
Well, he either activated other alien leaders. I normally the pick I think would be Proxima, so that she can pull more aliens for you and add a destiny. If he activated her, then I'm guessing he picked Jabba because he's.
Baba.
Yeah, I'd guess he has a Forlom in hand, so he can throw down Forlom with Jabba for the extra destiny.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about taking over a system. That's going to take some cracking. What's gone on? What Kessling's just deployed.
Yeah, Charlie says Panda Bob is still good because it forces him to deploy Kraken up in space. And especially if he doesn't have the passenger slots, because Overseer doesn't have any. Han Chui Falcon, I think, just has 1, right?
Just 1, yeah.
So you're choosing between Yoda and Kraken there. So yeah, he'd need multiple passenger slots if his plan is Yoda and Kraken.
Yep. But I'm, this is, like we said, the first 2 turns can be fascinating.
Drew says there's 2 slots for Han Chui Falcon.
Ah, okay.
It's a good card. Thanks for the correction.
It's too good a card. It almost feels like Erica is bait a little bit there, sitting on her own at the audience chamber.
Yeah, that's interesting, because if you do have...
Because he could go down, cancel
with some
stuff.
EPPs, and the other interesting thing right now, if you notice, it's Matt's turn and he's not activating, so he's really debating, because if he wants to go to space now, he's going to want to do Belden's Eye before he activates. If he's not going to space this turn, he would just be activating. So right now he's deciding: am I going to space? In which case I Belden's Eye, or am I not? In which case I don't Belden's Eye. And that's what's taking him so long to decide whether or not to activate forces. Is he going to space? Is he going to ground? What's he?
Well, he's also played 4 shields. So if he was thinking of, oh no, he didn't. He went straight for activation. Did he?
So he's not going for space, which is going to be tough. It's going to set Matt pretty far back, because now Kessling is draining 3 in space, 1 there, and pinging 1 with Court. So he's doing 5 damage and retrieving 1. So, and if you ignore space, it's
But also, Matt's played 4 shields. He's not kept us, unless he's got obviously a shield puller in his deck, which he probably does have. But he's got nothing to limit the drain in space at the moment either.
Right. But I don't think he even could, if he did have Ultimatum as shield puller. I don't think he could go to three locations right now.
Probably not. But losing Ahsoka's even more interesting, really, given that.
Right. I mean, she could have gone.
I'm guessing that he has to go to space. He's got to challenge what's there.
Well, I feel like he would have Belled inside then.
So do I. Unless he's got them in hand, which is why he didn't do it either turn.
Sure, and then you can Belden's Eye right now, and it still works.
Yep.
Yeah. Court has eight cards in hand, so they're going to be able to come back with something wherever you go.
Definitely. And they're activating 13, 12 plus white, so it's a decent number for them.
Mm-hmm. And they battle free, and all the aliens are -1. -2 on Cloud City right now while he still controls that. So Kessling's in a really good spot. This is exactly how the game should go from the perspective of the court player.
Exactly. It just may be a different alien at the audience chamber, perhaps, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if Matt played against any court decks in his Texas Mini World pods or anything?
I don't know. I don't know what he faced.
No.
Oh yeah, no coffee pass. We missed that too. There's a battle order on the table, and he still pulled battle plan. He should.
Oh man, yeah,
That
yeah.
was
That could
definitely
have
a
been.
mistake.
Yeah, I've seen that done many times.
I've done it myself.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, Matt's really in the tank here. He's not sure how to approach this because it's a tough match, and if he's not finding the cards he needs,
Yeah.
if he's so he is going for the audience chamber. If Kessling has like a none shall pass here or something, even a barrier,
Yeah. And also he's out of shield, so he's not even going to force any force loss.
right? No weapons to play anything. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he can't just give up space.
Right. Kessling's going to pay 3 to drain for 3 up there.
Of course, all game.
And Matt's not going to have the force here to come down with the second guy battle and pay 4 to cancel Scum after the battle. So Scum will still be on table. Yeah, there's the stunning leader.
Stunning leader. Yep.
Yeah. Now I feel like Forlom's going to come down to the audience chamber. Just and some random alien scrub, and Dark will battle, retrieve 2, trade random alien scrub for Obi. And here you've got a case. I think Matt is just thinking he's so far behind, both in space and on the ground. He was about to take another court ping damage, let Dark drain 4, retrieve 1, that he was like, let me just go try and kill her at least. Force him to devote more stuff to the audience chamber next turn,
and he moves over.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, so now he's going to eat a drain of 4. And Michael retrieve that stunning with Erica.
And it just, but you can see how much Cork can put down in space on that one turn. If he was just sitting there with Hark, just, it just get completely run over.
Right.
And is he going to leave those same 3 force again? He has.
Well, both times he's drawn up to exactly 12 also.
Yeah.
So
I see.
It may not be the case that they're not particularly cards he wants. He just doesn't want to go over 12.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be tough now.
Nick says, I'm curious why MHT picked QMC. Courts would be the most obvious thing I'd put Mike on. I'm guessing he probably put him on ISB. Because QMC's good against ISB. So Matt loses from hand an It's a Hit, a barrier, and the home 1 war room. So it looks like a home 1 package, and losing that war room is a big bummer because it's 2 activation and -5 to the deploy. Menace fades from reserve deck. That's fine.
Yeah. That drain of 3 is a killer, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm
so much first off.
I'm really wondering if Matt's just not drawing the space he needs. If he hasn't found a Honshui Falcon, if he hasn't found that home 1. Of course, you would think he would play launching in here and grab it with Walkling, but maybe not. Maybe he just figures his force.
Maybe he doesn't play launching.
No? Maybe he figures the force pile pulls are enough.
Yeah.
But if you're not flipped, you don't have force pile pulls. So I'm wondering if he's just not drawing anything to stay alive. And he doesn't need to win space right now.
No.
He just needs to pile enough stuff to stay alive for a while.
To get celebration going and then...
Right. You get Kraken there, you get Yoda there, you get enough power, and maybe you're trading a guy for a guy, and then you can start to do other stuff. But, man...
But this is the problem. He's not in space, and Mike is just piling.
Right. Mike knows he wins this system, he wins the game. He's draining 3 there, and all his guys are going to be an extra -1. And there's Darrow's going to download Guri onto the Stinger. So now Matt is going to be capped at 1 Destiny, whereas Mike is getting...
Which doesn't matter so much, I don't think, for QMC, just because, as you say, with Yoda there and the...
Right, if he gets Yoda. If not, that Guri's adding a Destiny and capping him.
Wedging ship might add to power or attrition.
He might have... If he's got home 1, he's going to have Akbar. So Akbar adds a Destiny, leadership can add a Destiny. So Guri limiting is still good.
Yeah.
He may have Screaming Lando. All right, Nick says if this is the same list from the Texas Mini World pod rounds, there was 4 ships in Matt's deck: Overseer, Wedge and Ship, Home One, and Han Chui Falcon Virtual.
Well, we haven't seen any.
Yeah.
I don't think you can beat Court by beating them on the ground and leaving a drain of 3 up there.
No, they're happy to battle back with you all day when they're retrieving and draining free, and
Because literally, Mike can just fill his hand again now. He doesn't have to do anything.
Right.
Oh, he's chosen to reinforce, but yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I'm happy just draining for 4 and retrieving 1.
Absolutely.
So, reinforces a little and draws a few.
Yeah.
His hand is small, but he's okay with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Actually, I mean, he'll probably be able to draw up to 8 here, and then just activate 1 with white.
Full board control.
All right. Well, let's see if Matt, before he activates, does Belden's Eye. Because at some point, he has to go to space. We'll see if he got the cards he needed in his last draw. No, he still didn't Belden's Eye.
No.
As you say, he might have both Hark and Overseer already in hand, but
even so, you'd still use it to get
he might also just not have. I mean, we've been listing a lot of cards he would need to contest that. He would need
That's very true.
Yoda. He would need Han Chui Falcon or Home One. He would need a lot of stuff to just kind of stalemate in space.
Yep. Well, especially with Wolf taking 1 off each destiny, Guri limiting it,
and adding 1.
Yeah.
Shaw says Matt needs a turn to go Hark, Guy to Docking Bay, Guy to a second site, which probably this plaza, and then can flip and consolidate to the Docking Bay. Land Hark, move the dude over free, and then you're flipped, and then you can at least start to force power pull and eventually fly back up. And
I just think he's too far behind by then. Almost, he's lost.
Right, if he could have done that his second turn, now we're on his third turn. But yeah. If he had a barrier,
maybe he just didn't have what. Yeah, maybe he just didn't have what he needed.
Shaw says he's going to lose by a bunch either way. That's how it's looking. Yeah, it's not a great match.
Not thus far.
Yeah. Dark having a spy wouldn't matter because Light would move away from this site onto the Docking Bay and have 3 guys at the Docking Bay. But then, Dark's fine battling into that. Matt sitting in the tank here again.
Definitely digging deep.
Might be a all new allies final.
Well, someone said that. I can't remember who predicted that. Was it Brian Fred who predicted it in the
probably. So I mean, he's on their team,
show,
so you always pick your teammates.
Yeah.
Well,
I can see his predicament. It's battling into that audience chamber isn't easy either with Court, whose aliens aren't designed to really do that.
Right.
He's drawing up.
Yeah.
Some cards.
Well, what's silly is he's now going above 12, which I think he has to do because of the position he's in. But I think he should have done that 2 turns ago.
Yeah.
Like not worried about Court playing Monarch.
Completely.
I think he was going to be far behind enough in the match that he just needed to say, I can't worry about Monarch. I need to get the cards I need to contest.
I almost wonder if given what's happened, if he had just been better off going turn 1, Hark and Overseer, and drawing up some cards to best him, because at least he was at the system first.
Yeah, but then Dark comes down and battles off Hark.
Yeah, but it's immune to less than 6. It draws a Destiny.
Okay, so maybe you peel 2 or 3, and then you deploy guys and flip.
Yeah.
But maybe he had no other space to go with Hark, and Hark would just get killed a couple turns in a row.
Yeah, good point.
So Matt draws a ton. He's at 20 cards in hand, and he's going to eat another drain of 4, and Kessling will retrieve his starting interrupt. Yep. Plays Coward, which...
I imagine Obi might get beaten down here.
Yeah, I don't know that you need to if you're Mike. If you're like, I mean,
It just keeps the ping going, doesn't it? It makes him have to come to Tatooine again.
right.
Oh, celebration from hand.
Yeah, so he thinks he. Oh, well, I mean, maybe he's putting Mike on having a masterful move combo because otherwise, celebration seems like a good one to hold. Because if you can just sit there at the system and
Yeah,
at least stalemate for a few turns, celebration would be retrieving for you.
yeah,
Mike pulled that coward, which is a good card to pull here because light not being at 2 battlegrounds means if they have to top deck, they can't
yeah.
walk link something crucial. But with 20 cards in hand, it's hard to imagine Matt top decking.
I agree. But it's interesting. He's not lost any
He loses celebration and
throwaway
Ellers.
throwaway interrupts. He's losing. Celebration means he's almost given up space.
Or he's just thinking Kessling's definitely going to have a masterful move combo, and celebration is just going to get canceled by a used interrupt anyway, so I'll just lose it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, of course. Otherwise, you just grab it and wackling. But yeah. But it feels like this is snowballing fast.
Yeah. See, I think I wouldn't take out Obi here because obviously Matt's not going to pay 3 to drain one that you'll just retrieve with Erica. And you're at 8 cards in hand. You're going to have to use at least 2 dudes and half of your force pile. I think right here I would just, as Mike, just draw up to 12, draw 4 cards. So I'm at 12 in hand and 9 force saved and say go. And what does Matt come back with?
He's lost Celebration and Puckamere, which are QMC's 2 cornerstones.
Whoa, both from hand too.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just assuming if he comes down with Puckamere at any time, someone will come kill him. Dengar. Of course, he has those rescues. They will get grabbed. Yeah. What's the other one from hand? Maz.
He's not got rid of any interrupts.
He's down to losing very tough cards. This is weird what he's lost from hand. Ahsoka. This game, Ahsoka, Celebration, Puckamere, Maz,
Elos.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean,
critical, but
not ideal, but
braces.
better than most stuff. But
yeah,
and Kessling retrieves his prepared defenses. All right,
what's Dengar coming? What's he deploying now from another ship?
Yeah, he's Dengar Zuckus. If it's Dengar, man, and it is, that makes it really tough too because he shuts off all the immunity. So if Light was piling like Han Chewie, Falcon, Hark, Home 1, and they limited destinies with Yoda, they get a destiny to power with Hark, destiny to power with Han Chewie, Falcon, and a battle destiny, they could, stay alive in space and they're all immune less than 5 at least.
Completely.
And then Light's not losing anything, but now with Dengar, you're looking at...
I'm sure Matt wishes he'd probably gone to space turn 1, even if he'd then just taken a couple of overflow, turn 2 flipped and dropped down to the docking bay. And
why?
That still seems...
But if he had no other space, here's the problem with that. Turn 1, he goes Hark.
Yep.
Turn 2, he gets beat down for, say, 3 overflow. Needs to keep Hark there so he can flip and deploys 2 guys. If he had no other space right there, he deploys 2 guys, flips. And then turn 3, he gets beat down for even more overflow.
Well, I mean, he could land and then fly up if he's picked something out of the force pile. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Right, if he has a docking bay. I don't think there's a docking bay in this deck. So.
Right. Okay. Well, that's a problem then, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, if he had a docking bay, that would be the play. Flipping and landing. I don't think there is a docking bay in this deck.
No. So, because Ellison with his power 7, he would have had 5 plus of power for Hark.
Yeah, Hark can flip and get into the non-battleground.
So he might not have lost anything. That might have been a score draw.
Because he could land at the docking bay, disembark, and just move over to the non-battleground. What do you...
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure why you say that, Greg. Greg said Hark can't flip and get to non-battleground in 1 turn, though. He can because the flip side pulls the docking bay. So you flip, you pull the docking bay, you land Hark there, disembark, and move
gets
over.
Out and gets shut and moves to the side.
Yeah, I'm not following. What? All right, well, so he...
Either way, here we go.
So Kessling deploys Dengar, deploys lightsaber protection. He's still just piling. He's like, I'm draining for 4 and retrieving 1. You're doing no damage to me. Yeah. He draws up to 11 and saves. Yep. Saves 2
saves
and
2. He played Velkan. He played Uta Guta to get Greedo and said go.
No. Greg, the 1-0 you can move free between there and any Cloud City site. They don't have to be adjacent.
Yeah.
It warps you over. It's like the Spaceport Street.
It's like exactly ROPS. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Is my when I zoom in on a card, can you guys read that? I don't know if my streaming resolution's high enough or not. Yeah, path is just interior sites.
Here we go. He's now used Belden's Eye.
All right, we're gonna see some space now. Belden's Eye and activates everything. He's got 21 force. JNAP says in Texas Mini Worlds, this must have been in the pod rounds.
Yeah.
Mike Turner had QMC versus Stubley. I don't know what Stubley was playing. He retreated. Oh, it must have been Court. He retreated Hark down early, then somehow came back up and put 50 power at the system to win it.
Interesting. Well.
So, okay, cool. Eric says you can read that. All right, he's going to flip. He's going to pull a card, probably Han Chewie Falcon or Home 1, if it wasn't one of those last couple, one of the couple force he has to use to deploy.
He's got someone else free to deploy. Layer for 2. So 17 cards to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope it's.
And that'll leave him with 16 force.
But you see, doing this, having lost Celebration and Puckamere, just almost feels I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, those were interesting ones to lose.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you're going to be in space, you might as well try and retrieve.
Because right now, you're probably not winning this game. You want to grind him down in diff, and those are good ways to do it because they grind it to a long game where Dark has to keep deploying stuff and hopefully losing stuff, fighting. They're retrieving with scum, but if you have guts, they're not, and they've got that Erica. But if you got Pukamer out, so you're doing multiple damage, like that's really interesting that he lost this. All right, so there's the Home 1.
But there is no immunity.
Yeah, right. That Dengar was brutal. And
this is I mean, Mike got everything in place, and Matt's a couple of turns just behind.
Right, and Mike didn't. Every time he pulled, there was always a ship there. He didn't activate the Dengar last turn, that sort of thing.
Wow.
Cassian, all right.
And that's 19 force.
See, right now, I feel like Lobot should have deployed here, and then Celebration should have been coming down, and he should be consolidating on the ground, but try and do a ping retrieval of 1.
Yeah, but to be honest, Mike's got 15 force to work with. There's 2 or 3 battleground sites he can attack, plus into space.
Right. But I mean, you got to start doing something. I gotta figure he just says you're gonna have the masterful. There's no point in me.
Yeah,
playing this.
But you never know. Sometimes they never find it. Yeah. Because right now, unless he's going to lose everything in space or everything on the ground, he's got. We'll see.
So Stubley says Mike Turner playing that QMC said it was against his court. It was super impressive. He disrupted Jabba's palace with Obi-Wan and Leia Rebel Princess, kept me busy there instead of fortifying space. Eventually he was able to get a force up there with Hark and Home 1, and I didn't battle him. Big mistake. He came down with Han Chewie Falcon to get some major damage in.
Yeah. I think Mike will battle him. I don't think that's going to occur. What's Mike getting? Is he getting 2 Destiny or 3 there at the moment?
Mike is getting 2. Just Guri's the only thing adding 1. He'll have 1 to attrition with Ponda.
Yeah, but he's
If
11 cards.
If a Forlom comes out, that'll add 1. If a Proxima comes out, that'll add 1. So there's multiple cards he will have.
Although
that will
you've
add
got
Destiny.
to assume he's got leadership in those 10 cards.
Yes.
Yeah, and Cassian to cancel it.
Cancel 1, which means that attrition draws. Oh, I see what you're saying. Cap it with leadership, cancel with Cassian, no attrition.
So no attrition.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So that'll happen.
to give him one extra turn to try and. So he loses a barrier from hand to the drain of the ground. Okay.
At the end of Lightside's turn, Kessling played "We Must Accelerate Our Plans" and grabbed Blast Door Controls.
Oh, nice.
Which, because he knows MHT is going to be playing a bunch of barriers. So at the drain, MHT just loses a barrier from hand. Yeah. And Kessling still goes ahead and plays this anyway, because probably he has multiple barriers in hand.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's a good counter card to QMC. Kessling came well prepared for this. I think Team New Allies has been putting in a lot of
This
prep.
Definitely looks like a fairly good anti-QMC deck. How would it have fared against Legend? That was the other deck Matt played, I think, wasn't it? And No Idea he played.
He played No Idea against Bastion. Yeah, I think he played Legend last round.
Court's pretty solid against all of those, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the Legend's slightly tilted for Legend, 50-50, depending on each of their builds. But, oh, I think I just, Discord just went weird on me.
I'm here.
Oh, hey, I don't know what happened there.
Neither do I. Not quite sure.
All right.
In the meantime, Aura's Sting has come down with Blaster, Greedo, Lana Gleamore. So yeah, quite a lot going on.
Well, my webcam's gone, but they can still see the game, so that's the important part.
That's all that matters. Can you hear me if I just chat?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, so Greedo, he does have a Force to Fire.
Yes.
Gonna Gleamort, extra power, forfeit.
But he also doesn't have a Force to Fire and Hoojix.
True, with Battle Order. If Aura hits him, there's definitely overflow. Yeah, that's a good point. So there's a battle in space.
We're going to see a leadership and a Castian cancel here, probably.
Yeah, so he's got to pay 1 for leadership, so Obi's going to be taking overflow.
No, it's free. Oh, no, he has to, yes. Yeah,
I mean, if Aura hits, Obi's taking some, half a dozen overflow.
Well, you can't cover everything.
Yeah, he decided space is more important.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he peels like 6 or 8 here.
So he draws a 2 for the Destiny to power.
Yeah. Announce the anti-ISB card.
Yep.
And a 2 Lady Proxima for Dark.
So that will get cancelled.
Which, Cassian cancels that, so there won't be the attrition one.
No, but he needs a decent draw, otherwise...
Another reason why I think Matt wanted to have that leadership grab by something special is so that he can play them for free instead of having to save a bunch.
Well, he just drew a 0 for Battle Destiny.
Yeah, Wolf made...
yeah.
So Dark's going to win by 4.
He just loses Cassian because Cassian
loses nothing. Yeah.
But that's,
Basically, he burned Cassian to just stay alive in space 1 turn, which is good enough for him. He would have liked to have killed something, but if Celebration was out here, he'd be happy.
Activate Force with Cassian.
I am really curious if that Masterful is in.
I think Mike should have battled on the ground first, because then he could have battled in space and he couldn't have leadershiped because he wouldn't have had the extra 4. Because he lost Cassian, he can activate from...
Oh, yeah. Cassian activating 1 is really good there.
Yeah.
Good point.
Very good. And if Mike had done it the other way, I think it would have worked better for him.
Charlie says it appears this court build is pretty decent against Legend. 1, because Erica V ping retrieved the whole game. And 2, Ghana Gleamort sitting canceling their drain. So if you just stack the audience chamber with him there, you cancel the pit drain, you Erica retrieve. If you can win
presumably
space.
Less Saws there.
Yeah.
Presumably Saw works.
And then you chase him around in space. I do think this court would be pretty good against. So Matt's...
Seems like
now that he hit, Matt can't swing if he's got Hoojix, so he is swinging.
Oh, this looks terrible.
Yeah, which means he's peeling 7 minus the difference in their destinies.
Yeah.
he obviously can't pay to sorry about the mess her if he hits or anything like
Yeah,
that.
he obviously didn't have Hujix in hand anyway.
Right.
Otherwise, you would have just obviously you saved the force for that.
Right.
Oh, your webcam's working. Hello again.
Hi. I got enough time to take a second to get it going.
Oh, nice. So 16 is Darkside's total. He's peeling. Oh, he drew a 5, so he's peeling 6.
Yep, Obi and half a dozen.
Which seems terrible, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he's down 26 at the moment.
Do you just draw up here?
Oh, I don't think you... Well, he's going to get a drain of 1 in.
Right, but...
We should just get...
Mike has 7 in hand that are going to be coming back with Erica's retrieve. With right now, there's 2 in lost pile, right?
Yeah.
That one of them gets retrieved next turn, and cards lost from hand are going to get retrieved every time he battles in space. Like, it's... I mean, yeah, Mike will have to deploy more. Is he going to deploy more than 9 cards, essentially the 7 in hand and the 2 in lost? No. So, with
I
most...
have to say... But Mike is executing this brilliantly. He's played excellently.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. This is a super well-played game. So, after Obi dies, we see from hand a barrier, and it's a trap. The Yoda, a rescue, all these from hand. He still has 2 battle damage left, and he's down to 5 cards in hand. I don't know how he... I don't know how you come back. Like, even even this site is just super weak. Like... Mike can come down with anything next turn and wipe off that site. He's clearly dominating in space. He does not activate enough to draw up right now because he's losing from hand. If he lost from deck, he could...
But to be honest, if he's going to lose, I mean... if you're
maybe he's thinking of whatever his light side is, and he's like, I don't think that can win any range of matchups I put Kessling on by 28. So I'm gonna have to take some desperation moves in this game to try and knock it down. Yeah, I don't know.
Or you just say, well played.
I don't like that move. I would have just moved Ghana into the audience chamber. There's no... Yeah, now you're going to drain for 3 instead of just 1, but you're so far ahead, there's no need... I mean, maybe he's got Gick in hand, so he doesn't care.
I was about to say, he's got 2 force, 1 with white, he's got Gick, he's probably got barrier, he's, none shall pass or something.
That's fair. It's just, it is a liability if he comes down and hit, sorry about the mess, overflow, but yeah, if he's got the Gick, which I'm sure he does. Just it adds extra pressure here on Matt. Yeah. So that's...
Yeah, I think... Yeah, they... Yeah.
Right, I think if Matt does come down with something right there, Kessling's happy to trade because he just hits a dude, clear each other, and then Dark retrieves 1, drains battle in space, retrieve 2 more, like...
It doesn't stop. It keeps going. I mean, certainly, I think in retrospect, if he could have just Harken Overseer turn 1, then just tried to flip with anything, he might have been just given himself a bit more time and space. But as it is, yeah.
Charlie says he's pretty surprised he played QMC and not Legend.
Yeah, good point. He obviously perhaps felt more confident with this.
Yeah. So he has saved 5 in reserve.
Yeah.
5's a lot. I mean, unless he's
5's
going double EPP to the pit and he's got the sorry and he wants to just try and cause a bunch of overflow and hope he doesn't have the Gick. Seems unlikely, but
yeah. It's quite a hope sometimes, though, isn't it?
Yeah, Kessling's at 24 here. This is where I definitely would have just drawn up. I would have lost 3 more. He still could have. He would just have 8 in hand instead of 5, so it wouldn't have been totally obvious. He wouldn't have peeled all 6 from reserve. Lose 3 from hand, peel 3, and then right now you could activate it all and just draw up and
drain for 1 and draw up.
And you lose you lose by 24. I would be happy with a loss by 24 right now. I think it's going to be more than that. I think it'll be 26, 27.
Well,
If Pukamer and Celebration were out,
yeah,
I'd say maybe Matt still can grind this down.
Even Celebration in this situation, he'd be retrieving 1, which is still...
It would negate the audience chamber.
Interesting. So we got X-Wing laser cannons. What does he need to shoot down out of all of that collection? The Space Cruiser?
That's a capital, so you can't. So it's got to be the other 3. Wolf does make the Destinies so -1.
You want to shoot Guri, don't you? Because that's capping Akbar.
Yeah. Yep. Guri, and then next priority is Dengar.
So he would lose an extra Destiny, so he's only going to draw 1 Destiny then, isn't he? So, yeah.
Yeah.
So 25, a Destiny to power. At the moment, only 1.
So he's going to pay 3.
Definitely pay 3 and shoot that Stinger.
I think Stinger's the right call, yeah. Because you could shoot Dengar and say, hey, I get my immunity back, but the problem with that
unless he's been able to track a,
Right, if he knows Matt has a bad Destiny and he does another leadership, so he's going to lose nothing, then you could shoot Dengar. But, yeah, there it is. He's going to...
Oh, it's a 5 as well. He didn't have to pay anything. He would have hit.
Yeah, but he wanted to make it immediately lost. You got to pay 3 to make it immediately lost.
Of course, yeah. So he gets the extra Destiny now with Akbar back.
Yeah.
And he's going to get... Would you do a Destiny to attrition or power here with Wedge? Because Ponder's not adding.
You are already way up on power. I guess power, because you already have an extra power Destiny. You're going to be way up on power. Yeah, attrition won't matter as much as the power difference.
And unfortunately, he's not been able to leave 3 force behind.
Yep, and he does do to power. Right, to shoot
so
next turn.
Yeah, it just won't be lost. It will just be a shot.
Right. It's curious. He still has 4 in reserve. And
that's because he's drawing
4. Yeah, he is drawn 4 now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone for power. He went for power attrition. Yeah.
He did.
Okay.
Wolf's going to make the 2 battle Destinies -1 each. But the power Destinies will not be -1.
No. That's still not great Destiny.
So he's up by 11 power.
Yeah.
And then the Destinies...
I feel like he needs to be up by more.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Because
that's
are
a 1.
Here. But at least he can lose them off the top.
And this is going to be a 4, a 5 -1? No, 4 -1. Okay. So 33.
Let's see if this is a low number and he's immune, that will... Oh, he's no immune
so
because of
Dengar, yeah. And Dengar adds 3 to the total.
Oof.
So that makes it an 8. So he can't just lose Kraken. 8 is rough too because he can't just lose Akbar. I think he's got to lose Harkin Ship. Yeah.
Overseer.
Harkin Overseer, definitely the choices here.
Got to keep the X-Wing cannons up there.
Yep.
But presumably Jabba is all that has to be lost to cover everything.
Yeah, I mean, right, with Dengar basically making him draw an 8, he's only down by 7. Yeah, Jabba covers 7. Yeah, I think drawing up.
I mean that just happened 2 turns too late, or at least a turn too late there, really.
If it could have happened right before Dengar comes out.
Different.
Because Dengar didn't come out till turn 4, so like if he had been able to do something early, but clearly I don't think he got his space. We still haven't seen Han Chewie Falcon. It took forever for Wedge and the gun to come out. Like
you can only assume he had a terrible hand and just couldn't find anything,
or just all ground, all guys, and that's why he pitched the Ahsoka and stuff. He's like, this isn't helping me.
I've got a handful of people.
Yeah.
Because right now we're going to see...
so 1 Jabba goes, and then like I said, right now we're going to see Erica retrieve 1, we're going to see Scum retrieve 2, and he's going to go from 24 up to 27. And
drain for 2.
And you're just draining 1. Yeah, you drain 3, battle, retrieve 3 total. You're draining 1. Like I think drawing up at 24 would have been the right play there, but...
I think, he's going to...
I think he was just holding that wedge, holding that gun, thinking like, if I can clear space here, I still have a chance. Yeah. Maybe presumably
he shoots Dengar next turn to get clear Dengar. If Mike attacks in space this turn, you shoot Dengar, don't you?
Yeah, and pay 2 to. Oh, he only has 1 left. Pay 1 to add 1 to it. It's gonna be hard. He'd have to draw. No. Even if Wolf makes it -1, and they're both maneuver 5, so even if he draws a 5, which after peeling off the top, even if he draws a 5 plus 1 is 6, -1 for Wolf is 5. He can't hit. Yeah, no. He would have needed to save 2. So,
but he drew 1 with keeping the Empire out.
Right.
Well, he's got 2-1.
Yeah,
2-1-3 sitting on top now.
That blast door controls is good. That that Erico is good.
Okay. Yeah. I'm guessing he's hoping that he's going to battle into Lobot and he can deploy Lando with blaster pistol from hand for free from reserve.
Yeah.
Because he's got that on top. And see if Mike falls for that.
I don't know that he needs to. I mean, Matt's at 2 in hand. I think you just deploy more to space and battle free. Yeah, he'll do that.
There we go.
I'm sure he's got the Gick in hand, so he's like,
yeah.
He grabs Guri back here.
Yep. Yeah, it's almost like the two of them had completely opposing hands. Mike seems to have had everything he needed, and
and Court just pulling at space. I mean, he pulled. I think he pulled all his ships. Maybe he played one from hand. No, maybe he played the space cruiser from hand. He pulled Ellis and then played space cruiser with it.
He did.
And then so
Ellis
he had. I mean, that's not like amazing. He had one of his 5 ships in hand. Like that's totally reasonable.
Yeah.
It just.
I certainly know that from what they were saying in what Chris Kelly was saying in the Slack chat about play testing for the next set is that they certainly don't want to make too many changes to make Court even more juggernaut. So I think they're obviously conscious of.
Someone mentioned that in the chat that seems like Court is a design constraint with its ship pulling and no ideas with its weapon canceling.
Yeah. Wow.
Interestingly, Matt did. I forgot that Charlie points out that Matt played Legend against Desai, and Desai was playing Court, and they played it twice because it froze, and Matt handily won. So yeah, he's probably kicking himself for not playing that.
Mind you, maybe he feels it's not an advantage against ISB, and he probably thought Mike might play ISB. I mean, you just don't know, do you?
Right. Yeah, you definitely have some second guessing when it comes to match play. When you're
Bastion, that's why Bastion hates it.
I think a lot of good players do. I know Hayes is not
he doesn't like
fan.
it.
I know Brian Hunter never really liked the NPC idea.
Yeah. It's the how far do you go into down the rabbit hole with it,
right, wine in front of me.
Yep.
So, have you played this Among Us game? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's all right. So Kessling drains, retrieves with Erica, deploys that Guri after playing Afra, battles in space, retrieves with Scum. There's a game called Among Us, which is like there's a bunch of little characters trying to create tasks, and you're either assigned a character like on the good guys, or I don't know why he's bothering to fire here. With Wolf, he can't hit.
He wants to get the one off the top.
Ah, okay. Fair.
Which he saved, hoping he would battle into low.
But then why pay 1? Why not just pay 0?
He did pay 0. He grabbed Twi'lek Advisor.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And then some of the characters in this game are like saboteurs imposters who try and they're the bad guys, and you get a random roll at the beginning.
Is this like Secret Hitler?
Yeah. It's like that, but it's an app. There's a desktop version, but there's also a mobile version, and it has become wildly popular lately.
I am not familiar with it.
All right.
Jabba's Haven. So obviously they've got a plan because that's Jabba's Haven. So Mike, obviously the New Allies team had a very clear plan about how to approach this matchup.
Yeah. Not using the Haven opting for the something special.
And presumably it would have been the same against No Idea, I'd guess. You don't play your system.
Right.
Go straight to Scarif, perhaps.
You probably don't play the system, but I might still think about playing Jabba's Haven for its getting a guy back and the option to pull a system, because nowadays I think No Idea tends to win that system a lot. If they get the Tornfar evac loop going, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
So you might want the option to... All right, so Akbar dies because Dengar doing his thing. Basically, Akbar was traded for Darrow.
Yeah.
Not a great trade for light side.
And a retrieval of 2.
Right. So now he ship stocks. He's going to get Wolf off of there in case it gets shot down. Put everyone on the capital.
He should be shooting Dengar. He'd have been a
yeah, now he'll want to shoot Dengar. But either way, it's a moot point. Like, either way, he needs to just be drawing up, because now it's 27, but there's still 3 and lost. Like, you're only doing 1 damage. You're draining 1. Mike's got 5 in hand. Even if he top decks 1, if you don't draw up, he's going to retrieve with Erica, retrieve with Scum. Like, you have to draw up now, and you lose by 27, but that's better than losing by 30. And if he would have done it last turn, he would have been 24. But Shaw, that's a good point. He says something special plan messes up the draw up turn. So as soon as they drop and they only have 1 left, you play something special used to retrieve a ship, and that puts the leaderships into their used pile, and then you haven't been able to draw up, and then Dark gets 1 more round of retrieval. But that'll happen no matter when it happens. Yeah, JNAP says Mike's cycling stuff from table into his life force, and from his hand into the life force. Yeah. Oh, Andy's going to drain more with Afra. Like, Matt didn't do the free move over. So
he will do.
Oh yeah, it's his turn now. Sure.
Yeah.
But he activated, and he's doing the force pile pull.
From turn 1, it was a downward spiral for Matt, because he had to get out to challenge Bespin, like you said, set out from.
He never flipped, and I think not having that docking bay is a mistake. I'm fairly confident it is not in the deck, and
that is, and I think, I mean, when I spoke to him beforehand, it was going in, but maybe it never made it at the end of the day.
Oh, really? Yeah, I know. Him and Eric were talking about it yesterday, and I said I like the docking bay, and Eric said he never ends up deploying it, and Matt's like, yeah, I never really use it. So I know it had gone out of a version, but it was bubble.
Yeah. But definitely a bubble card. But today, if you had got Hark out turn 1 and then moved to the 1-0,
could have given him options. Yeah, he would have had to. He still would have had to peel some turn 2, because he'd have to leave Hark up there for the next flip, unless he had like Hark, Calfal, Lobot or something and just did free guys.
Yeah, but I mean, even Hark could have lasted that. He could have survived that 1 turn on its own.
Yeah,
and that would have just given him maybe just that tiny bit of time.
Yeah.
But as it is, he should be drawing up, but he's not going to. He's about to battle. Good on him.
Maybe. He's still in his activate phase.
True. He might be working out whether it's worth.
Yeah, he's taking a card and seeing, is there anything I can do? I think he's thinking like, oh, maybe I drop an EPP Luke or whatever on Afra. But then Mike's just like, all right, I get.
Yeah.
I deploy, I drain, retrieve, drop random dudes here, retrieve here. Like, Mike's going to end this game with no loss pile. So then the question is, how many of the cards on table in hand are you going to let him put back? Because
he doesn't need to do much more than this that he's doing at the moment, because he's doing, as you say, he's doing 2 on Tatooine plus a ping and a retrieval.
Yeah, it's looking like 31, 32.
And to be honest, that's probably concede territory.
The match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, 30. I'd probably say, all right, hey, can we just reveal what decks we have? And if I think I have a shot to win that by 33, we'll play it out. If I don't, I'll just concede. And
I mean, I think anything over 30 at this level is very difficult.
Right, unless Matt himself was also playing a deck with a potential lock.
Yeah.
If he's got broken concentration and he's like, all right.
Exactly, quite possible. Yeah.
But yeah, 30 is a lot.
Yeah. Well, he's still working out what to do.
Yeah, still in his activate phase.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, Mike Kessling has played amazing this tournament, this whole event. I think
he's played super tight.
I think he
did he win his pod?
He won his pod. He was in my pod. Him and I split games. So
should I say, did he win your pod?
Yeah, he did. Him and I split games, so he wasn't undefeated, but went 3-1 in our pod. And
what did he play in the pod?
He played ISB. And
no idea.
No idea. Correct.
Yeah.
So we went 3-1 in the pod, and then his let's see, what were his? I don't remember.
So he's drained. He didn't activate everything, and I think he's going to try and generate some damage.
He didn't deploy anything either. He just lost the court right now.
Yeah, he's just going to battle into space.
And do what?
I don't know.
Is he like, I'm just going to let Mike see how many cards he can get back now?
I think it's their personal
he has a track destiny that he needs that 5. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now he's hoping Mike draws less than 4.
Yep. Which is possible. I don't know if Mike's...
Kraken's still there.
I mean, it all seems futile anyway, but I know.
Wedge adds 1 to power. All right.
Yeah.
So if Mike draws a 3 or
these
less...
These are 2 5s. It could do something. His destiny's been pretty terrible this game so far.
There's a 1 or 2 to power,
1.
And the next one will be
and then...
So 19 to 11. He has to count on Mike getting less than 4 here, and so that's a 4.
Oh yeah.
So he's up by 12 minus the difference in their destinies.
So if Mike draws a 2, for example.
3. Okay, that works
3.
for him.
That works. So he's down 9. That's just 2 characters.
Yeah.
But he needs to make sure he leaves 3 4 now.
Yeah.
To be able to shoot Ellis.
I mean, or he forfeits Django for 8 and peels 1.
He's going to retrieve it next turn anyway. So
right.
Yes, whichever.
Right. I don't think you lose 2 characters. I think you just...
Because who's he got in... Mind you, the only ship he's got in reserve is...
Oh, I don't like that. He loses Ponda, which...
That's because Kraken's still on home 1.
Right, but at some point, Kraken will die if you...
Yeah.
If you can crack Wedge's 4. If you can draw at least a 4... then he's probably got to forfeit Kraken, and then Ponda kicks in. Basically, your choice was Django and 1 or Django and Ponda.
He's going to battle with Leia, but he's got Greedo in hand. So
sure. He's got Greedo, he's got Gick, he's got everything.
So I don't see why would you lose... You've lost a card there.
I don't know why Mike grabs that.
Yeah, it's a lost interrupt. It doesn't seem worth it.
Right, and if he thinks he has a second one, those are the last 2 cards in his hand. Why?
Okay, she doesn't even retrieve because it's not a battleground.
Right.
And presumably Greedo comes down with his last force. Maybe not. Maybe he doesn't think it's even necessary.
He's debating. Do I Greedo? Do I just kick it?
You probably.
So he did not Greedo. Okay. He adds a destiny. So Matt's now out of cards in hand.
Yeah.
Which means just stuff on the table. He'll get a force pile pull.
Yeah. I think is he hoping, as Greg said, that he's going to play something special and get 3 leaderships back?
Mike's not going to do that until the turn he has one in life force. As soon as he has 1 in life force, Kessling will do that.
Yeah. So that means that he can't shoot.
So Afra and 2 or Afra and Gick. Either way, it's not much overflow. And Leia can do her move with the Plaza Corridor, can move anywhere free.
Yes, so she'll just move back to where Lobot is.
Sure.
And then it will be a drain of 2 and a retrieve of 1, and then a battle in space, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, maybe not. Maybe you do a battle on the ground.
Yeah, but this is where everyone knows, because you can get Lando for free.
You're very outpowered in space right now. You're probably just wanting to survive in space, drain 3 on the ground, retrieve. So now you probably just switch to attacking ground, deploy more forfeit fodder in space, and stop attacking in space.
Well, you presumably deploy Stinger from if you can.
Did he retrieve that?
Yeah. So, you see, if he'd played Greedo there as a react, he could have left Greedo, at least have something to counter beat and force Matt to. Oh, he plays. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, that wasn't a terrible turn for Light.
Yeah, he's
thinning out space, in all fairness. But he's got no way of retrieving any cards because he ditched Celebration.
Right. But it's guaranteed that Kessling has a masterful combo because he's playing non-combo Gick. So,
is anyone in chat part of the New Allies team that can? Is Greg? Can Greg tell us?
Oh no, I'm sure he has. There's no reason why you'd have non-combo Gick unless you're playing a Polar and you're not using the Destiny 6 Polar when you played against someone who played QMC. I'm sure he has masterful combo.
That's a very good point. So, the gun, unless he's got a tracked.
I mean, the gun was really good this game. It just he was so far behind by the time he set up any space.
Yeah, exactly.
And
came too late.
Anytime Scum can keep its loss pile small, they're going to win the game because they just have plenty of stuff to just keep throwing at you. Yes. They have the force to keep doing. But
Mike only has 3 cards in hand.
Yeah. But he's doing 4 damage right now, counting the objective damage, and he's retrieving 1. Matt's doing 1 damage and retrieving none.
The drain of 2. Oh, he's lost Lando. He should have, because Lobot could have pulled him for free as a react. But he's stuck with what he's got. So
yeah, he has 1 in hand.
Yep. Let's see what Mike's 3 cards are.
So now Mike is at 28 in Life Force.
Yeah, so it's yo-yoing around, but it's about to get...
Well, right. It went 24
30.
2 turns ago. Last turn, 27 because he retrieved 3.
30.
Now it's 28 because he's retrieved another one. If he retrieves 2 more, it'll be 30. Why? Yeah. Why is he pulling that docking bay? I'd be happy to... I'm fine drawing that as a 0 for Battle Destiny.
Yeah, but I think he might have tried to pull Stinger and found he had activated it. And the docking bay came instead.
It's possible.
Possible.
Yeah.
Because
and if so, why was that not ever pulled earlier?
But that's not an attractive battle. Oh, wow. Okay. Now it's an attractive battle.
Yeah, there's no nothing capping. There's no Admiral, the leadership. There's there's also no bounty hunter up there. Oh, Bosk, right? Yeah.
Bosk.
I was going to say there's only aliens, but yeah, he did add Bosk this turn.
So what's this? 4?
Fett pilot.
3.
3 Destiny. Yeah.
Boba Fett is pilot, yep. And Bosk has gone to passenger.
And with Wolf still there, you still can't hit Ellison Hinthra with only 1 force saved. So Scum will
3
retrieve
Destiny,
another 2.
Retrieves 2. So that takes him, is it up to 30 now?
Yeah.
Almost 29.
29, right, because he played the docking bay.
So 3 turns ago when it was 23.
It's 24.
When you
24, but he still could have done the something special planned and got it up to 27. Now it's at 29, and he still can do that something special trick to get 3 more.
Yep. But you've got to think this turn. Home 1's going to be going, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, he just keeps drawing these 1s.
He fired for free to get the 1 off.
I know. But even so, his destinies have been...
Right, in the deck. If he activates to it, it's still...
Yeah.
So he adds 2 attrition this time, because he knows he's not going to outpower with those 3 Battle Destiny, but he's probably losing Kraken and Home 1 here. Well, but then Wedge on his own isn't going to do anything against the Space Cruiser. So I guess he's probably losing wedge and Kraken, but if it's more than 10, he's done.
Yeah.
2, 4. All right, so it won't be more than 10. Which means
It might be. No.
Kraken and oh yeah, if he had drawn
8.
5. Kraken and wedge.
Yeah, I mean that's just you get.
So that's a 4, and then he's gonna have an attrition draw.
Yeah, which is that 2? Yeah.
So Michael will have to forfeit for 6, which is at this point I just lose Guri.
Just someone. Guri might as well lose Guri,
Yeah.
quite frankly.
He's not adding any destiny here. Yep, and he does.
Yep. And then he has to lose Kraken and Wedge.
Kraken and wedge, because you can't. Right, you can't. Right. Well, it's Kraken in one of the ships, and which one would you rather keep? Home one, because wedge
Obviously.
alone can't. Even if it shot down Ellis,
but it does nothing to the cruiser.
Right.
But he's not going to break through three destiny either.
Right. No, he's very done.
Yeah, I just think he obviously is. He's gone that way, right? Yeah, he's obviously just as you say, didn't have what he needed to execute his plan, whilst Mike executed perfectly.
Yeah, and as we said on the very first turn, you favor Court in this matchup. This is Court pile space, and they're just doing more damage. Their light has to really come back from behind for this and have a lot go right, and none of that did.
Nope.
So Kessling draws one.
Well, I didn't.
He doesn't care if he wins by 27
20,
or 28.
no.
Well, like he's like whatever.
Yeah.
If I win by 26, 27, 28, anywhere in there, I'm happy.
Yeah. Well, Matt presumably tries to draw up here.
Right, because otherwise it's next turn it's Erica retrieve,
Exactly.
battle in space, probably battle on the ground too.
Space.
He probably just drew into a character, so if he's got like Aura Sing or something.
Yeah.
Drain 1 probably comes from hand.
And then let's see if he does the because he has got a ship in Lost, hasn't he? He's got Dengar. Something special, so he would.
Right, yeah, he just loses Proxima from hand. And now Matt, I think, is going to try and draw up, and then we're going to have the something special trick.
Yeah.
So right now, it is 27.
But it's going to be probably as much as
30.
32.
Yeah, 32 if he battles on the ground too.
Yeah.
So we'll see when
you wait till he's got one left in reserve and then you play?
Yep. Assuming he remembers it. If he's got a character in hand, he wins by 32. If he doesn't, he wins by 30. If he's
kept one force from 8. He's activated the one for white for aim high, so he's covered himself from that perspective.
Greg Shaw says, the likelihood of Mike remembering something special planned is probably represented by a bell curve of how many drinks he's had. So he's not going to remember it.
It is only a Tuesday night.
No, the thing on Jemp though is it lights up every action. It's one of your like things that's, and
ta-da! Here we go.
Yep, there it is.
There it is. Yep.
3 drinks is optimal. If he hasn't had enough drinks, he won't remember, and then his play gets better, and then.
Yep.
All right, so he does do the something special trick.
Yep. And he'll pay 1 to get Dengar.
Yeah, and then next turn so it might be 33 if he's got a guy in hand. Retrieve. So he's at 28 now.
Yep.
Erica 29, battle in space 31, battle on the ground 33.
Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely scoop match territory. It's who wants to grind through it.
Oh, I wouldn't.
I mean, you at least pretty early on. You're like, okay, turn 4, I'm down to only 30. Good game.
Yeah, I've deployed some stuff.
I still have 30, and I just beat you down by 12. Good game.
Yeah.
Good match. Like, yeah. Um. Oh. If you're Kessling, you probably don't drain at the audience chamber here because he loses from reserve and then just force pile pulls that last one before you can battle with scum.
You stop right now.
Yeah.
Let's see how the bell curve is again. Yeah. Is he going to?
I mean, he saw him peeling from reserve, so it's a pretty obvious.
Oh, he's done it.
Oh. Well,
okay.
There's a mistake.
Yeah. He's allowed one in a match.
In a match that he's won by 29.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that was tough on Matt, but well played, Mike.
That was a slaughter. Matt says in the chat, that went so badly for me. That is an understatement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
There we go.
So it's looking like your finalists for Texas Mini Worlds. Oh, Matt says, do you want to play the second now and get it over with? It should be quick.
Well, yeah.
Because he just needs to get him down below 30.
Yep.
Yeah. Shaw, text him and tell him to just play it now so we don't have to all try and get together tomorrow. And
Oh, we can't.
I have an obligation at 8. What time is it? That's a bummer.
7:30.
7:30. It's not going to take 30 minutes.
It's going to take about 4.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess they will tomorrow.
They'll work it out whether it happens or not.
Yeah, if they do that. But it's looking like your finalists for Texas Mini Worlds will be Greg Shaw versus teammate Mike Kessling. 2 players who have played excellently this event. Yeah, Matt said, I had not a single space card in hand or force pile until my 3rd turn. So he couldn't even draw for space in his first 2 turns.
That's very unfortunate.
Yeah, and Kessling said, I figured something like that was happening. That Obi-Wan was just like, I guess I should do something. Because, if you have no space to draw for, there's no point in drawing right there.
Maybe if he had Belden's Eye turn 1, he would have had at least Hark in hand, and then maybe he could have done something, but yeah.
But here's the problem with that play, with no other space to back it up, is turn 1 you go Hark. Dark side turn 2, they go ships, battle you get a Destiny to power, you get outpowered, you have to peel to keep him alive so you can flip. So you peel, say, 3 to 5, whatever it is. You peel a few, you deploy guys and flip. There's no docking bay. So now Hark's still just sitting there and you have no other space.
Yeah.
And then they deploy more ships, battle.
Sure.
If you don't have Hoja, you're just obviously...
True, but given how this went... I mean,
if he had the docking bay, that's a fine play, but given how this went... He was hoping to activate ships on his 2nd turn or 3rd turn and draw into them, and he just...
of course.
Yeah,
and that's what they're talking about. And there's Mike going, if you get that X with cannon early, it's completely different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. Right?
Yep. So, all right, 29. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Thanks for streaming with me, Justin.
Joe, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Have a good night.